Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic/Non-Classic. This is episode number 663, Doubleshot, number 567. Alright, unlike last episode where the first trade was DC trade, second was Marvel, this one is reverse. First one's Marvel, second one DC. And the first up is Avengers Scarlet Witch. This is actually another trade. This is not part of the Scarlet Witch ongoing series that lasted from 2015, 2016. This is just her series of solo stories that she had from I think it was the early 80s to about the early 2000s. Yeah, this is her solo stuff that she had before she had an ongoing series. And this collects the first Scarlet Witch miniseries, or first volume anyways, because the volume she had in 2015 was second volume. You have the Avengers Origin of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver one-shot, the backup stories from Marvel Team Up number 25 and Solo Avengers number 5. There's also material, the stories from Marvel Comic Presents issues 60 to 63 and 143 144, and finally Mystic Arena Scarlet Witch. Now, the way the order of these particular stories came out is that Marvel Team Up 25, that was the first one. She teamed with Doctor Strange, that one. And then with Solo Avengers and Marvel Comic Presents 663. Then it's Scarlet Witch miniseries, and then it's the 143, 144 of Marvel Comic Presents, and then Scarlet Witch. Pretty much how it's presented here in the back of the trade. That is, well, kind of how the trade, how it presents these particular stories. Is that the miniseries comes first, but the Quicksilver Scarlet Witch one-shot, that does not come next, believe it or not. The next thing, like right after the miniseries wraps up, is, let's see if I can find it here. The next thing they put in here, like right after this miniseries wrapped up, was, let's see if I can get to it. It is her backup story that she had from Marvel Team Up number 25. Yeah, that was the thing Marvel Team Up had. It started with issue 100 for about, I'd say about 30 issues or so. They occasionally had a backup story. Basically, they would have another Team Up, aside from the Spider-Man Team Up story, they would have another backup story. Yeah. Now, those of you curious, who does these particular miniseries? Dan M. Lanning does the Scarlet Witch miniseries. The backup story from Marvel Team Up number 25. That's done by Mary Jo Duffy. Yeah, she's the writer of this particular story. The backup story from Solo Avengers, which later became Avengers Spotlight, which essentially put a Hawkeye solo book before he got his ongoing series, before he got his first miniseries. Yeah, this is written by Dennis Mallory. It's her in her classic Jack Kirby attire, which looks like her in a swimsuit. Yep. It's a pretty good story, fighting off against with Xanadu. Yeah, that's him. He's also a Doctor Strange film, believe it or not, but he debuted in a Spider-Man annual. Yep. It's a great little solo story for her, and even has an epilogue where she meets up with her then husband, the Vision. Yeah, they were married in the 80s. And next is from Marvel Comic Presents number 60. This is done by, yeah, get this, the writing, the artwork, and the coloring is done by one person, Richard Haswell. I gotta say, this artwork is really, really good. Yep. And the story is called Yesterdays. This was actually her first, I would say, serialized story that she had. And she also did some time traveling, where she went to back be a pirate, basically, to hop in by of her ancestor. Really cool little story. The following story, which came out in the 90s, mind you, this is done by, the writing is done by Chuck and Rita, and if you look at this cover, you're probably thinking, okay, what's Siege of Darkness? That was a crossover that Marvel tried to do in the 90s. Yeah, Marvel loved doing crossovers now. This was the third and last crossover involving the Midnight Suns. They are a cosmic group of people formed by Doctor Strange to take on a group of demons. One of them happened to be Dracula himself. Yep. And in this is a quick little two-parter called The Algorithm of Life, and it just, well, has typical 90s style thing, like the two-page spread, you have to turn on its side to read it. Yeah, this happens a few times in here. Yeah, it's an odd little story, but it's pretty good. And the last story in here is Mystic Arena. Mystic Arena was a series of one-shots released in 2004. Yeah, this is done by Scott McKeever. Sean McKeever. It's a pretty good little story. Yeah, it also features. There's also one-shots for various other supernatural-based characters. Like a lot of not that really big ones, mind you. The other ones to get one were Doctor Strange, and I think Doctor Strange was the only one to get one. Like a lot of the known sorcerers in the Marvel Universe got their own one-shot. Thanks to Mystic Arena. It's not like an Elseworld story. It's a canon story for her. And then, of course, last thing in here is the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver thing, which is just a retelling of their origin story told by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Well, it's basically a retelling. It's little differences here. Like, it's mostly the same, but it's done with different artwork. Yeah, the artwork for this one shot, yeah, it's just basically recapping their history, like from the moment they first got introduced up until they joined the Avengers. That's what the story ends. The artwork in this little story is done by Marco Perlifsi, and it's really good. Yeah, Marvel did this thing. I think this was, let's see, when did this come out? This came out in, if I can find a release date for this thing. This came out in 2011. Yeah, they did a series of one-shots. They also did the same thing for Ant-Man the Wasp. They did it for Luke Cage. A lot of like the big known names basically later on who later featured the Marvel Universe. The only reason why Marvel did this trade was because she popped up in Age of Ultron. That's the only reason why I did this. And this only came out just a few years ago. The original cover price of this thing was $25. I got this for $8. Yep. Great book. I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Next up, it's Justice Society of America, Kingdom Come, Part 3. Written by Jeff Johns, artwork by Alex Ross and Daniel Ingham. Now those of us thinking, Nick, why are you starting from Part 3 for this story? Well, because the store I went to, because Ollie's didn't sell, didn't have Part 1 and Part 2. Yeah, same thing with the JSA trades. I got the first 3, but I couldn't get any more because they get these things at random. This particular thing collects, and this is what it collects. Justice Society of America, Volume 3, Issues 1922, the Kingdom Come Specials for Justice Society of America for Superman, Mogog, and the Kingdom Come Special, The Kingdom. Yeah, this wraps up pretty much like a long-running storyline that had been going on in the pages of JSA. This happened like right after their crossover with Justice League, and it's a sequel to Kingdom Come. This is called Thy Kingdom Come. The Kingdom was a follow-up to the Kingdom Come, but it wasn't as good as the original one. Yep. And those of you curious about the characters being this cover, okay, let me explain who these characters are. The guy in the red suit, that's Nate Haywood. Yes, the same name of the guy who's on Legend of Tomorrow. The big, huge guy, his name is Gog. He's the villain of the story. Obviously, the woman with the boob hole, that's Power Girl, obviously. We have our man in the corner. We have Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan. But, okay, is that Superman? Why does he look so different? Why is his S blacked in? Yeah, he's Superman from Kingdom Come, and they confirmed that Kingdom Come takes place on Earth 22. That's actually Lightning. She's the daughter of Black Lightning. Yep, she is. We also have Stargirl, who is the woman with the rod. She also has appeared in Legend of Tomorrow, and she's appeared on Smallville, wearing this very costume. Though for some reason they had her appear in the 40s, which is bizarre because she's a modern day girl. The girl standing behind her, that's Liberty Bell, a.k.a. Jessie Quick. We have Judo Master. This is the third or fourth one. There's been many different people. This is actually the only one who's actually a woman. Kind of like how Manhunter was a woman. Who was the guy in the nuclear reactor symbol suit? That's Atom Smasher. He is the godson of Al Pret, the original Atom. And we also have Hawkman. Anybody can tell him just by looking at him, that's Hawkman. He is right behind Steel. Yeah, that's Hawkman. The guy right here, that is Jericho Thunder, aka, well, he's the host for the Johnny Thunderbolt, the Thunderbolt Genie. The guy down in the corner, that's Mr. Terrific. Yeah, he's character feature on Arrow, but his name is Curtis Holt, not Michael Holt, and he's not gay. Though they do keep the fact that his wife's name, his husband's name is kind of the same. It's a male version of Paula. Though in the show they got divorced, while in the comic universe, Michael Holt's wife died in a car crash, which became an atheist. Though they actually show his Earth 2 counterpart, where he is actually a Christian, and his wife is very much alive. Yep. Yeah. This is by far, now they even have a little crossover with the second Earth 2. If you're wondering how many Earth 2s there have been 3. You have the original Earth 2, which appeared for pre-Crisis. You have the second one that appeared after the Infinite Crisis, which featured the characters from the Golden Age wearing their costumes on that Earth. And the third one is basically the setting of the Earth 2 comic book, which started by James Robinson, and then Tom Taylor did the book, and then Daniel Wilson took over the book for the last 6 issues of the series before it was relaunched as Earth 2 Society, which he did for a bit, and then have pretty much finished the comic book. This is by far really, really good. Now, the following trade, which features the following trade comes right after this one. It's Jeff Johns' basically goodbye to the series, because this is the second to last trade that collects his run for Just Society America. Yeah, he was not in the book for very long, like a little over 2 years. Yeah, and then he left. Yep. The book was relaunched from JSA to Just Society America Volume 3 after the events of Infinite Crisis. And it was like this up until Flashpoint, where it was ended after 54 issues. I did eventually plan to get the other trades, but this is fantastic. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. It's really good, but I really wish I got the other part of the story for thing. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be episode number 664 and Doubleshot 568. Okay? But until I see you all there, bye.